this video, I'm going to share with you advice that I would go back and give myself in my 20s, especially as a male in today's day and age, specifically related to life and business. Stick around. I'm going to show you how to make money with a mini excavator in 2025. Boom. Objections immediately in most people's minds. It's like, but what if? So I'm sort of trying to think ahead of them and think about, what if I don't know what excavator to get? What if I don't know what services to offer? What if I don't know how to price my jobs? What if I don't know how to go get the jobs? And how much money can I actually really make in 2025 to go through all this headache? So that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to tell them what we're doing with the hook, answer their objections. So look, I want to be the best in the world at creating content around skid steers, mini excavators, chippers. I want to help millennials and Gen Z, so people in their 20s and 30s, go start businesses with a skid steer, a mini excavator, or a track chipper. It's very easy. It's very straightforward. This is who we're serving. This is who I'm making content for. I'm making content for my 22-year-old self to tell myself all of the things that I wish I would have known when I was 22 that I now know when I'm 32, or am I 32 or 33? I'm 33. Last couple of years have been a blur. Had our first kid, she's 2, another little one on the way, built a house, started a business. Now we're creating content. It's like, there is nothing like, this is a principle I want to talk about. As a male in your early 20s, if I could go back and tell myself at 23, a decade ago, what is the most important thing as a male American that you can do to set yourself up to be successful, is get married and have kids. There is no greater drive than to provide for the family. It's the reason, it's 5:29 right now, so I'm late, right? But I've been up for an hour and a half here. It's the reason I get up at 4 a.m. every single day, or earlier. Why? Because my wife and my daughter are asleep, and I know that this is my time to get my work in an undistracted fashion. But the reason I do that is because I want them to live a great lifestyle. I want them to be able to live in the house that I built. So therefore, we have to afford to pay for the house that we built, right? And so that drive to make money and provide for the family is one of the single greatest drives that you can tap into as a male. In your 20s, if you don't have responsibility, it's going to be so easy to just want to go do whatever you want, live on barely nothing, or just focus on building the next crazy tech startup because you can. It's going to be much easier to be realistic with yourself and go start a very boring business that actually makes money if you go find a woman, and if you make a commitment to her and you get down on one knee and you ask her to marry you, and then you work through all the hard things together. Because guess what? Marriage is hard. Marriage is really, really hard, but it's also very, very fun. And it's an incredible journey. I don't know anybody who has gotten married and said that they didn't have challenges to work through. So guess what? It's like, I hear people all the time, oh, it's like, it just wasn't right. Man, I just heard of my third friend from college who got divorced, and it's disheartening. It really is. So part of my mission with this is, like, when I'm sharing content online about how you can start a business, my hope is that you come into our ecosystem and you start learning some of these principles that I believe are helpful for you as a male in your 20s or your 30s. Specifically, men who are graduating college, you're wondering what you should do in this crazy world right now. If I have one message to you, it is skip all the AI, skip all the SaaS, skip all the e-commerce stuff, skip all the digital marketing, skip all that stuff, right? You can create content like we're doing, right? But there's a saying out there right now that it's like, nobody wants to watch your content unless you're actually doing something. Okay, we're actually building a business in real time. The cool thing is that business pays for our lifestyle, but we're also able to create content around it, which can add another level of this digital business to your portfolio. But if you don't have something to go create content on, nobody's going to want to watch you. I can tell you that right now. But first and foremost, I'll come back to that principle, like, what's going to drive you in your 20s? Just simply making money for yourself is not enough to drive you. Excuse me. It's enough to drive some people, right? There are those small amount of unique people who just go build businesses for the sake of making money, right? But I think for the majority of you guys who are graduating college, you're going into this life, you're dating somebody right now. There are certain things you love about them. There are certain things you don't like about them. I would encourage you to make a commitment sooner than later. The reason being is because once you make that commitment, you're going to work through all the things that you need to do to make that marriage work. And once you get through those early days, those first couple of years of marriage, like they are hard. They are. Why? Because like you're living with somebody else and that person is not you. And they got to put up with the crap that you do, not cleaning up your dishes, farting in the kitchen, all that kind of stuff, right? And if you don't make a decision to work through those days, if one of your goals is to have a family one of these days and you don't make that commitment, then when are you ever going to do it? So my encouragement to you guys would be, make the commitment to a woman, have kids with her, and raise those kids the best that you can. And then that is going to lead to you being more successful in business. Why? Because there is an innate human drive, especially as a male, where you feel responsible for providing for that family at home. And there is no greater drive. I can tell you, I have never been more motivated in my whole life. Not even when I was trying to earn a Division I scholarship in football. That was my one goal in high school. I didn't drink, I didn't smoke, I didn't sleep around, I didn't do any of that kind of stuff in high school. Why? Because I had a goal to earn a Division I scholarship in football, and that was the only thing that mattered to me, right? Once I achieved that goal, and once I went and did that, I never set the goal to go play in the NFL. Look, I'm not saying like I was a good athlete in high school, good athlete in college, or decent athlete in college, wasn't good enough to play in the NFL unless I would have set that goal and like really push through some, inefficiencies I had as a player. That's not what this talk is about. The reason being is like I set a goal and I achieved it. Now business is that outlet for me. But when I was single in my 20s, all I really cared about was like skiing and fly fishing and drinking beer. And I did that a lot. Hung out with my buddies, skied, fly fished, lifted weights. But I didn't really feel a need to like, I could live off of a little bit, like I didn't need a ton. And so therefore to me, it's like health, activities, lifestyle was way more important to me than making money. But I knew I always wanted to build a business at some point. The second I got married, I felt the responsibility to start stepping up. The second I started having kids, that responsibility increased. And it's fun. It is so much fun. It's like when you have other people relying on you and relying upon your energy and upon your effort, that is when it gets fun. Because you're tapping into some sort of primal, innate human responsibility, especially as a male in your 20s or 30s, you're not going to get elsewhere. I mean, look at Elon Musk, for example. Like I watched something the other day. He's like, have more kids. It's a great thing. And I can vouch for that. It is a fantastic thing. Not only from the perspective of the fact that you get to raise a family and you get to build these amazing bonds with these other human beings. It's going to drive you further in your business career because there's going to be a fire lit up under your butt to go get some stuff done, to go make some things happen, to get out of your comfort zone. When I first got on camera, like, and I'm still to this day, it's like I've got 2 cameras set up right now. Like this is the first time I'm doing this. There are so many firsts in this let's create digital content world. And why am I creating digital content? Because I believe it can lead to bigger and better things for my business. That's the sole reason, right? It's not for vanity metrics. It's not for followers. It's not for fame. I actually cringe at the word influencer. Like you hear it in today's day and age, like influencer. It's like, ugh. But one thing that is fun about this is you do have a scorecard. Just like sports, you get a scoreboard, okay? And that scoreboard is very, very apparent to not only you, but other people as well. So for me, the challenge is the fun piece. Every single day, I'm thinking about how can we get better at what we're doing. My role in my businesses is to market the businesses. We all know right now, if you're a millennial or Gen Z, you know absolutely that marketing in today's day and age is done online. If you're not online, you're behind. There's no doubting that. And the second I accepted that as a business owner, and I just realized that, hey, we need to be online. We need to have our businesses front and center. We need to be on every single platform. We need to get over our fears of getting on camera or whatever the stigma is about. Like I said, there is this like cringe factor of the thought of like influencers, or it's like, that person just became an Instagram influencer. They're just a creator. It's cringy, and it made me not want to do it in the beginning because I'm like, oh, what are these people going to think of me? It's like nobody actually cares. When you realize, okay, your mom, I know my mom cares about me. She does. She cares about me. All she wants me to do is just be successful. All my mom wants me to do is love my family. that she could care less how successful I am business wise. Okay. All my dad wants me to do is love my family and be a good human being. All right. And I'm thankful to have parents like that. Now, do they want me to achieve my goals? Yeah, I'm sure they do. There's a certain level of that. But the most important thing is to be a good human being and to love people, family, friends. But outside of that, like once you realize that very few other people in this world actually care about what you're doing, then it's like, all right, game on. If people don't actually care, then let's tap into this whole creator economy and let's figure out how to go get our business front and center on all these platforms and let's make some freaking money with it. It's like, why not? Why? Why not? Why not you? That's what I'm asking. It's like, if other people can do it, you can do it. Look, I will tell you this. I've had this vision for the longest time of like, man, I know we can create some content that could be helpful for other people, right? I know that that will lead to us making a lot of money in return. And guess what? Millennials, Gen Z, wherever you're being fed the BS of like making money is a bad thing. And like, I see so many people like trying to create these businesses. It's like, I give 50% of my profits away. Sweet, man. I keep 50% of my, you know what I mean? It's like, I'm the one out here busting my ass. You know what I mean? Like I'm the one getting up at 4 a.m. There's nothing wrong with making money, especially when you have a family at home. If your goal is to create the absolute best life that you can for that family, because you want them to be good, productive members of society. Look, here's the reason. Homelessness, I'll tell you what, this would be solved. Homelessness would be solved if everybody had a goal set and a plan to achieve that goal. That is what motivates us as human beings. We are goal-driven people. What wakes me up at 4 a.m. in the morning is the fact that I have a goal and I have a plan to attack it, right? You don't have to always know all the answers. What's important is that you just wake up, you put your boots on, and you figure out how to go attack that goal. There are so many different ways that you can make money in 2025, but one of the most satisfying ways is to offer a service to your local community. And I'll give you an example. This weekend, and I'm not trying to toot my horn, I'm trying to tell you guys a story about what I chose to do and how that made me feel as a person, offering a service to my local community, okay? Some of our neighbors are our snowplow customers. They paid my business to come plow their snow. It's really easy to be average in snow plowing. It is. It's really easy to just be like, man, I don't want to get out of the truck. I just want to plow. I don't want to shovel. I don't blah, 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 right? A conversation I'm going to have with my team here shortly is like, we're not average. I don't care what it takes. I want our customers to come out and look at their driveway and wow, they actually spent the time to get the hard areas, to get the tough areas. So I went back around on some of our accounts this weekend because we haven't had snow in a week or so. So at my house, I have ice that builds up, right? In an area that just like the plow can't get. So I have to manually shovel it, which I enjoy doing physical labor. So it's fine. Ice, we don't have gutters in this certain area. So it's like ice kind of builds up if you don't keep on top of it, right? So I went around and I'm like, what areas could our customers use help with? I visited this area and man, we've got like a north facing driveway on one of these. It's kind of like ridgy as they go into their driveway. I'm like, man, I got to figure this out, right? So I went over there, took like a chip, like a pickaxe, some shovels, some ice melt. And over the course of like 3 days, I would like spread ice melt, go over there, chip up ice. You know, there's 3 or 4 inches, 3 inches probably of ice. And I'd just spend like 10 or 15 minutes each day until I got that area completely clear. Why? Because I'm motivated by delivering a great product. I am. If I'm going to put my name on something, I want to be known as the best. There's no reason for doing anything if you're going to just half-ass something, in my personal opinion. There is a reason to do something if you are striving to be the best that you can absolutely be as a human being and challenge others around you to become the best versions of themselves. At a core, that is my business philosophy. Just become the best at what you do. So I did that. I get this text. I was just grinning ear to ear because it made me feel good. And it's like, this is why you strive to be the best. I get this text from our neighbor. Hey, thank you so much for clearing the ice. It makes it so much easier for me to get in and out of my garage. The husband texts me, hey, that means so much to me that you would take the time to do that. I'm actually out of town right now. I had to fly overseas for work. And the fact that you're taking care of my family while I'm gone as a neighbor means so much to me. You don't know how much that means to me. And I was just grinning ear to ear because I'm like, this is why you offer services and you do the best that you can absolutely do. Because whenever you get that text from whether it be a customer, a neighbor, a family member, friend, because you did something for them, that feels good. That is living, in my opinion. And my wife asked me, she's like, what are you smiling about? And I showed her the text and I had to tell her. And she kind of like got a little choked up and she was like, that's so great. Once again, I'm not trying to toot my horn here. What I'm trying to explain to you is like this opportunity of a service-based business, you can have those opportunities if you commit to being the absolute best that you can possibly be and delivering the absolute best service that you can deliver for your customers and for your clients. And when you do that, you're going to get these ancillary benefits of a text, a personal text to you thanking you. And that feels good. That is living in my mind. I hope this can be encouragement to you guys. I hope I can encourage you to pick a service, go offer it to your local community, go offer it to people, pick a service that nobody else wants to do. Look, snow plowing and snow shoveling, people don't want to do. It's funny. Like when some of my friends, they're looking at me like I'm crazy starting a snowplow business because it's the crappiest hours. We live in a ski town. You are signing up to work on powder days, which is why most people live in a ski town to go ski. But to me, it's the ultimate level of service. If you can commit to delivering service to your community and the people who live there, and doing it to the best of your ability, you will be compensated and rewarded accordingly. And that, tying everything in, is the reason I'm doing what I'm doing. And I believe that you, if you're watching this, you're a millennial or Gen Z, if you're lacking meaning, if you're trying to find meaning, if you're stuck in a corporate job, and if you've just been working for the big company and you don't feel like you're valued, I hear this all the time. Like it's kind of cheesy, but the reality is people do want to be seen and they want to be heard. And when I hear this, I'm kind of like, well, if you want to be seen and you want to be heard, go freaking do something that people see and people hear about you. Like, don't just sit in your house and mope and be depressed and drink your way into depression. That's going to crush you. I can tell you that. And if you're drinking alcohol every night, I can tell you this because I fell into the trap of it. When I built my house, I had a couple beers every single night. That led to a habit, which ultimately led to this cycle of depression. And I finally just had to kick it. It's like, this is not a habit that I want to show. This is not a habit I want to see my kids see me doing. So if you're in your 20s right now and you want to be seen or you want to be heard and you're going through something tough mentally, I'm going to tell you something harsh right now. Nobody actually cares. Nobody cares. People may act like they care. Most people don't. So you've got to take it upon yourself to care about yourself first. You've got to take it upon yourself to get up out of that house, to stop drinking the booze, to figure out a way to go become the best at whatever it is you're doing. I don't care if you're working for somebody else shoveling snow. If you have the mindset that you are going to be the best at what you do, that person who you're working for is going to reward you. You are going to make more money. Money isn't the end all be all, but guess what? Money can buy snowmobiles, and snowmobiles are a heck of a lot of fun. And ripping around snowmobiles sober is so much more fun than sitting on your ass at home pounding booze. Okay? Money can buy a ski pass, and skiing is fun. And guess what? One of these days when you get married or when you have kids, you're going to want to have some money because your wife, your kids are going to need a roof over their head, and you're going to feel a responsibility to provide for them. So you may as well start now. If you're in your early 20s, my recommendation is to pick a service and go after it. There's such a big opportunity. I can tell you, if you follow this channel and if you just listen to some of my stuff, I'm going to show you how to market your service online. I'm going to show you how you can get big time leads. Look, my little brother, I've mentioned this multiple times in podcasts, starting a pressure washing business. Dude just landed a multi six figure. He doesn't have it signed on the dotted line yet. And sorry if I'm sharing too much information, Jackson, if you're listening to this, but the dude is crushing it. He's doing all the right things. He's approaching his last year of college, which I have my opinions on college degrees, right? And I'm not going to go into it on this. If you're in college, if you're not in college, if you're graduating, but the opportunity is in the service-based business. I'm telling you that right now. Why? Because most people are going to go get addicted to smoking weed. They're going to get addicted to drinking and partying. They're going to party every weekend. They're going to be sitting at their house. They're going to be watching YouTube videos about how to make the next AI app. And they're going to be self-paralyzing themselves because they're not as successful as the people they see on YouTube. The reason I'm creating this content on YouTube is because I'm trying to bring you back to reality as a male 20-year-old or 22-year-old, 25-year-old. I'm trying to bring you back out of this AI, digital, YouTube creator economy. Like, dude, if you haven't done anything, don't even think about doing the whole influencer, but like nobody wants to watch you. If you don't have anything cool to share, nobody wants to watch. Okay. So get that out of your mind right now. Figure out how to go market a service-based business and make some money doing it. All right. So like I said, my little brother, he's doing all the right things. He literally was going and handing out flyers. He's like cold calling people. He's knocking on doors. He's getting the jobs. He's like using just Facebook organically to post about his business. He's doing all the right things, right? Now, the next things he needs to be doing, and I've told him this, is like whenever you get cash from that, you need to build a website and you need to reinvest in SEO. My partners, Striker Digital, Bodie and Andy, they are crushing it for service-based businesses. You tell them your service, you tell them your service areas, and they're going to go build an SEO plan. You pay them $1,500 a month. Once you start cash flowing your business, you're going to invest $18,000 this year in that. But that $18,000 is going to, at a minimum, very conservative minimum, 10x your investment. Minimum. If not 20, if not 30, right? I share about this all the time, but if you're not online, if you're not blocking and tackling from a digital marketing perspective, if you're not sharing your jobs, your content online to get more reach from these free algorithms. This is a free marketing platform. All you have to do is invest your time into it. That's all it is in the beginning, right? Until you build a system, you have to hustle and you have to invest time into it. Over the last 2 years, I have literally invested so much time into our website, into our content strategy, into our social media strategy. It's not like we have tens of thousands of followers. Followers are not the goal. That's not the goal here. The goal is setting a goal for yourself and pushing yourself outside of your comfort zone and then getting more exposure for your business in the meantime. When you do that, you're going to get $250,000 projects. Literally year one from our SEO, our paid marketing efforts. I actually attribute this to SEO and website. I know that's where this lead came from. We got a $250,000 government job. I shouldn't say it wasn't directly with the government. It was ultimately government funded, but it was through a general contractor who found us online because they were searching for land clearing and grading contractor in our area. When you break it down, it's so simple. All you have to do is find the right partners and pay the professionals to do their job well. And that's all building a business is. You either hire experts as subcontractors or you hire great people as employees. That's all you do. And when you can figure out and when you can identify this is what needs to be done at the business level, I don't have enough capacity to do it as the business owner. So therefore, I need to find the professional or the expert at that. And then you go pay them to do their job and do it well. And you set the right expectations and you hold them to those expectations. That's how you grow a business. But it first starts with getting up off your butt. Stop having the woe is me mentality. Because guess what? Nobody cares. I love Cam Hanes. If you guys don't follow him or watch him, Cam Hanes is the backcountry bow hunter. But he has coined a phrase, and it's stuck with me since I first saw this 7 or 8 years ago. Nobody cares. Work harder. Nobody cares. Work harder. You're depressed. Nobody cares. Figure out a way to work harder. Figure out a way to get yourself out of that depression and go set a goal for yourself and go work towards that goal. You will have meaning working towards that goal. I guarantee you. Girlfriend just broke up with you? Nobody cares. Go figure out a way to go find another girlfriend. Work harder. Seriously, work harder. It applies to every aspect of life. Oh, you're fat? Nobody cares other than you. Heck, you might not even care right now. You first have to start with caring about the fact that you're fat. You have to address the fact that you need to address that. That's a you problem. It's not because of something in your past or like, somebody said something and you're like holding on to all this tension. It's like, get rid of that BS. Grab that thing by the freaking neck and throw it. Whatever it is that has a hold of you, who's telling you that, or whatever thought that is in your mind that's telling you like you're just a fat and out of shape person. Address that right now. You're the only one who's going to change your health in 2025. You first have to address that. And then once you realize that nobody else actually cares, so therefore you got to care about yourself, then you can address it. Care for yourself, take pride in who you are, accept that nobody else is going to care for you. It doesn't matter if you're fat or if you're like the most ripped person in the world. It doesn't matter if you're Arnold Schwarzenegger. Arnold could get fat right now and it's not going to affect my life. I don't really care whether Arnold gets fat or whether he continues to be jacked. I don't care. But what I do care about is I care about being in shape. So therefore, I'm going to go to the gym and I'm going to push myself and I'm going to lift weights. And when I get tired, I'm going to push through it. I'm going to challenge myself to get better. And if I'm running one time around the track and I get tired and I want to quit, it's like, no, run twice. Because that's where growth happens. When you push yourself to a level of this is really uncomfortable, guess what? Here's something to take. When you get uncomfortable, you have two options. You can either quit or you can keep going. Those are the only two options that you can do. There's really no keeping pace at that point. You're not going to maintain. When you're super uncomfortable or when you're super tense or when you're working out and you're unbelievably tired, there's two options. You either stop or you push forward. So what are you going to do in 2025? When you get uncomfortable, are you stopping or are you pushing forward? That's the question. Who are you going to be in 2025? And look, I'm talking primarily to males because I resonate most with males. I have a wife and I'm going to be a girl dad, right? And I'm learning how to do life with females, right? Every single day, right? But like my passion is in business, right? And the reason I have this content, like I'm not going to relate super well with a female right now at this phase in life. But I can relate with you if you're a 20-year-old or a 25-year-old male. Because I've gone through the 20s and it's hard. There are hard things and you're going to go through it and you're going to question life and you're going to question religion and you're going to question whether there's a God and you're going to question whether or not you should be making money. You're going to question whether or not making money is even a worthwhile goal. You're going to question whether or not it's right or wrong, especially if you grew up in the church like I did. I questioned, should I be trying to make money as a goal? Is that what I need to be doing here? And ultimately, I've come down to like, yes, let's trust God. Let's ask God for help. Every morning, I do my best to say a prayer. But every night before I go to bed, I say a prayer with my wife and with my daughter. And I thank God for what he has given us. And I ask God for help in our day-to-day life, right? And once I started doing that, life got better, okay? Like I said, I questioned a lot in my 20s. But the reality is nobody else cares. Nobody cares if you're questioning that. You've got to figure out whether you're going to choose to believe in a God or whether you're not. I would recommend figuring out a way to believe in God. That is the concept of faith, in my opinion. And I'm no way, shape, or form the person to look for spiritual guidance on this phase in life. But I can address things, and I have addressed the fact that it's like I don't want to be a piece of crap, and I want my family to be able to live a comfortable lifestyle. So therefore, as a male, I should leverage my strengths and my abilities, and I should wake up and I should keep a clear and sober mind, and I should actively pursue some sort of goal that's going to make my family's life better and ask God for help along the way. Do I think that everything that I do is like exactly what he wants me to do? I don't know the answer to that. The only thing I can do is do my absolute best every single day. I'm asking God for help to just become the best version who I can be. And my drive for it is to make a better life for my family. So the question is, what are you going to do in 2025 that's going to set you and your family up to live a better lifestyle? What are you going to do in 2025 that if you're in your 20s and if you're not married yet, maybe if you're dating somebody, what are you going to do right now as a male that you're going to pick up your cross and you're going to take it and go, and you're not going to overthink things, and you're going to figure out, what can I do right now to make a better life for my future wife or my current wife? What can I do to make a better life for my future kids or my current kids? Because they're relying on you. They are. They need you. Look, after going through my wife's pregnancy with her and going through childbirth with her, it's like there are certain things that you cannot do as a male. You will never biologically be able to do as a male. Like you're never going to carry your kid, but you as a male can step up and you can lead and you can pray for your family at night. You can ask God for help. You can ask for protection. You can ask for health. You can ask for prosperity. And guess what? That's not a bad thing, because if the goal is not to be homeless on the street, which we all address that that's a big problem in cities right now. So if the goal is not to be homeless on the street, the opposite is to be prosperous and to live a great lifestyle and a comfortable lifestyle where you have food and a roof over your head. And oh, by the way, you get to enjoy some activities that you like to do, like skiing, snowmobiling, hiking, fly fishing, elk hunting. Those are all very enjoyable things, but you can't just be a bum and travel around and do all that stuff for the rest of your life. At a certain point, you're going to have to step up and you're going to have to figure out how to bring in some cash for you and your family. Money doesn't solve all your problems, but I can tell you this, life sure is a lot more fun with it than it is without it. I've been broke before. I have, and it's stressful. But guess what? It was a product of my decisions. I was living the lifestyle that I was okay with living. At a certain point, you have to decide what you're okay with and what you're not okay with. You have to decide what kind of life you want to live and what kind of life you want for your family, and then you can start setting goals. So start right now. If you're not married, if you're a single male in your 20s, write down, what do you want your future family to have? Do you want a house? Where do you want to live? What kind of car do you want your wife to drive? Do you want kids? What do you want your kids to be able to do? What do you want them to be able to experience? Write those things down. Start there. Because if you do that, then you have a baseline for what you're working towards. And look, money is not going to be the only thing that drives you. At a certain point, it will drive you, but there will be a certain point to where you get the whole baseline covered. But then it becomes, why are you doing what you're doing? The goal is always going to move. Once you realize that, then you start transferring your thoughts to, why am I still doing what I'm doing? And it's because challenging yourself to become the best that you can possibly be for the sake of being the best that you can possibly be is a worthwhile endeavor. If what you don't want is to become a drunk or a drug addict buried in a basement or hiding out in a dark basement, then the opposite is becoming a vibrant, full of life, prosperous leader for your family. Somebody who's successful, somebody who's healthy. It's not a bad thing to strive for great health. It's not a bad thing to strive for great wealth. I just encourage you to write those things down. What do you want 2025 to be? Look, you're not going to go create the next $1 million business. You're not going to put $1 million in your bank account. Well, maybe you will. Maybe you will, right? Like there are a small percentage of people who just find opportunities and go. But for the majority of you, it's going to be a slow, incremental process of you getting 1% better every single day. There's a reason that people who win the lottery go broke. If you were to be handed $10 million tomorrow without putting in the work to achieve it, you'd likely be broke faster than you can shake a stick at. But the worthwhile journey is to set a goal, focus on what can you do to get better every single day. The first thing that I would recommend, wake up earlier than you are right now. Whatever time you're getting up, wake up earlier. And how do you do that? But Austin, it's like, I'm not a morning person. You control that by going to bed earlier. And you know what's crushing your sleep? Listen to Huberman. Alcohol, weed, sugar. Those three things, crushing your sleep. You eliminate those things and you're going to get better sleep. I got something for you. I feel like I've been plugging Mountain Ops a lot. So if you guys are watching from Mountain Ops, you can sponsor us. Mountain Ops Slumber. I don't take this every night because I sleep well. What I do is I take this into the backcountry with me when I go hunting, because whenever you're used to sleeping in a really nice, comfortable bed in a climate controlled environment and you go out into the backcountry and it's freezing cold and you're winter camping in fourth rifle season, you're sleeping on a sleeping pad, which, yes, like I probably sound like, sort of pompous right now, but it's like when you transfer from sleeping on a really comfortable bed to a sleeping pad, you're just not going to sleep as well. Anyways, my point with this is Slumber from Mountain Ops. It's just melatonin and chamomile, 2.5 milligrams per gummy. So I don't know, I was taking like 2 gummies out there. Help me sleep in the backcountry. So if you need to go to bed earlier, try these things. Eat earlier in the evening. When you get home from work, cook a big meal. Don't work out in the evenings. That's just going to like ramp up all the endorphins. Every time I work out after 4 p.m., I'm just wired that night. And then that affects my sleep, and then I sleep in later. Don't work out in the evenings. Work out either at lunch or before you go in to work. Eat your meal as early as you can in the evening, 5 to 6 p.m. Stop eating. Take some gummies, not weed gummies. Take some slumber gummies from Mountain Ops. Drink some chamomile tea. Doesn't have to be Mountain Ops. You can just get melatonin. It helps you. Figure out a way to fall asleep at 8 p.m. You do that multiple nights in a row, your circadian rhythm is going to get on a habit to where you're waking up at 3, 4, 5 o'clock naturally. Once you start doing that, you're going to have, depending on what time you wake up, My goal is 4 every morning. I'm putting in 4 hours of work. A lot of millennials specifically read the 4-Hour Work Week book, rocking a hammock. And like, I fell into it when I was like 25. I'm like, oh, this is awesome. Like, you could work 4 hours a week. Like, this is life, right? And I wasted a lot of years trying to build that business. The harsh reality for most of you is you're not going to build that business. So be real with yourself. I've actually flipped the narrative. Rather than striving for working 4 hours per week, I work 4 hours per day before the majority of America gets up. That's when I'm filming this content right now. I get the question all the time. How do you have time to run a business and to do the content thing? It's like, well, wake up at 4. I just work 4 hours a day before most people get out of bed or most people go to work. It's like most people show up at 8. Oh, you're meant to show up at 8. What do you do from 8 to 9? You're at the coffee pot, you're taking your crap, at the office, you're, shooting the bull with all your friends about the weekend, and you actually get started at 9 or 9:30 and you work for a couple hours, and then you go take a lunch break and you head out. Maybe you grab a margarita if you live in one of these hip towns like Denver or Austin, and then you're not productive. You're doing this on a Tuesday. It's like, what world do you get margaritas on a Tuesday in the afternoon and expect to be productive in the afternoon? Like help me understand what world that helps you become more successful. Oh, I'm networking with other people. I'm doing business development. It's like, you're also crushing your body in the middle of the day. You're also losing half of your work day because nobody can sit here and tell me that they are more productive when they drink at lunch. So how do you get ahead in 2025? Wake up earlier. Put in more work than other people are. You do that, good things start to happen, right? How do you have time to run a podcast? How do you have time to do the YouTube channel? How do you have time to run a business and go get a snow contract with 150 properties? It's like, well, I work on the 150 properties from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. I create systems and I delegate those systems to other people. And then if something falls through the cracks, I'm available and I answer my phone during 8 to 5, and I show up when people ask or need help. When any of my customers, it's like, yeah, you want to go start your business in 2025 because you're tired of your corporate job and you don't want somebody telling you what to do. Newsflash for you. You start your business, you get rid of one boss, and you now have right now I have 180 bosses, 30 people on our snowplow account or truck plow account, 150 on our snow shoveling list. I report to 180 people. If they ask, what's our motto? 5-star service. What do you think I'm going to do? Just not call the people back? No, you're now reporting to 180 people. And oh, by the way, you now hire other people and you have those people to deal with, right? So you're managing people, but you're also reporting to 180 of your customers, which are now essentially your bosses. Because if you're not delivering 5-star service, you're going to hear from them, right? You're not hearing from one boss who wants to check in with you once per week. Oh, my job is so tough because my manager, I just have a crappy manager. How often do you talk to your manager? Once a week on your one-on-one at your tech job? I'm also going to say a newsflash for some of you guys. It's like, I don't think you're cut out. I don't think you're cut out for entrepreneurship. If you can't handle a remote tech job that you're making 6 figures a year and you have to check in with your manager once a week and manage a couple people, give it your best shot. That's what, sorry, that's a little negative. But my point with that is if you really, really do want to go start your own business, you better step into it with the right mindset of I'm not quitting my corporate job so that I can have freedom starting a business. You are quitting your corporate job. And if you start a business, it is time to grind. It's time to go to work. Everything comes back to this. It's like the motto that you'll hear me say at the end of every podcast: work hard, do your best, never settle for less. Why? It's a worthwhile goal worth striving for. Becoming the best version of yourself is the most worthwhile goal. And becoming the best version of yourself, doing that to make other people's lives who are close to you better, is a very worthwhile goal, meaning your wife and your kids. After you get your wife and your kids taken care of, you can focus on making your extended family's life better. Think about that. Okay, you always wanted to go on some dream vacation. That would be cool. Yeah, for sure, with your family. But think about whenever you have worked so hard that you get to a point to where you can take your whole extended family to a dream vacation and you can all hang out and have fun. That's fun. And some people listen to this are like, well, you don't really need that to happen. It's like, yeah, but if you're wired to be a goal-oriented person and if you want to become the best version of yourself, then you might as well commit to doing these actions and then reap some of the rewards and the benefits later on, right? I just had a cup of coffee and I turned on record and here we are. I think I started this with how to start a business with a mini excavator in 20 2025, which great option. If you like operating equipment or if you think it sounds fun, here's one thing we're going to start doing. Go to the Bear Claw Land Services YouTube channel. We are going to start doing some how to operate videos. One of my business partners, Josh, is an incredible equipment operator. You guys have probably seen it. If you watch the Bear Claw Land Services channel, you will see him on the mini excavator, the skid steers, like incredible operator. I've learned so much about operating equipment from him. We'll start doing some how-to videos. He operates 90s model grader. I think it's 90s model. It's either 90s or 2000s. So it's still got all the joysticks and everything, or the levers. I don't know anything about a grader. Sorry. Cat's out of the bag. But yeah, we're going to do a how-to video because I selfishly want to learn from him on how to operate equipment. So if you guys are trying to start your business in the equipment world, I'll be posting those videos on this channel and probably post some of those on the Bear Claw channel as well. But you can get kind of a quick crash course on all the pieces of equipment that we run: skid steers, excavators, grader, track chipper, probably do a dump truck one. I like creating more of the content about like how to market, how to sell, how to do strategy, like how to think about positioning yourself online. We'll do more of the content about the nitty gritty nuts and bolts behind actually operating the equipment. So do you have to start a business with equipment? No, absolutely not. There are a million different opportunities. I just so happen to love heavy equipment. I grew up running skid steer, Mini X for my dad, general contractor. He always had machines. I always loved operating. That was like my favorite thing to get. I was working for him for like $10 an hour in high school. And I loved when he would ask me to get on the skid steer. It was awesome. My favorite thing ever. You don't have to start a business. So you can start a business with equipment if you want to, like and subscribe to this channel, and you're going to get more content about that. But there are so many other opportunities. Like I've mentioned before, my brother is starting a pressure washing business. Probably the most unsexy, like most simple business, but he's making cash in college doing it. And he just got an opportunity for, like I said, a multi-six-figure contract this summer. And I just am such a believer of the fact that good things come to those who work hard. If you show up every single day, I believe that God's going to reward you. I believe God wants us to work hard. I believe he wants us to become the best version of ourselves. So if you show up and if you show God that you're willing to show up, and if you're willing to do the work, I believe that good things are going to come from that. I believe you will be rewarded for that. Look, nobody ever became successful getting drunk in a dark basement by themselves on a Friday night. Okay, so if that's you, figure it out. Get yourself out of that. Nobody, well, I shouldn't say this. I was going to say nobody became successful working corporate, but like that's completely false. There are plenty of people who are successful working for other people. And if that's you, like that's fine. But the reason I was going to say that is because I had 2 or 3 people at this point who have quit corporate America and who came to me and just asked, like, how do I start this business? And they went all in. Why? Because they were just dissatisfied with working for or being a cog in a big old wheel, and they wanted to create a better life for themselves. Okay, if that's you, reach out. I'm happy to help. But I will tell you with a preface, it's not going to be as easy. If you're quitting your corporate job to come start a business, I believe that's the wrong mindset. So don't quit your job. Don't start your business until you have the mindset that you are going to be working probably twice as much. If I had to just take a rough guess, twice as much as you currently are in your corporate job. Because if you want to build a business, it's like once you start hiring people, they're going to start at 7:30 a.m. If you're not prepared for them, if like you don't have everything ready to roll, so that means you either got to do this stuff in the early days, like after hours or before hours. But it's incredibly rewarding. I'm starting to lose a little bit of steam here. We're an hour in on the recording, and this has been fun. I hope somebody out there listens to this and gets some sort of benefit from it. If you are in your 20s or if you're in your 30s, millennial or Gen Z, and you want to start your business, like and subscribe to this channel. We talk about how to go get your first jobs, how to market the business. We talk about digital marketing strategies. Go subscribe and follow the podcast on Apple and Spotify, and then like and subscribe to this channel. I bring on other service-based business owners. People like Sam, who's grown his roofing business to $22 million a year. People like Brock, who built a septic business, installing septic systems, $1.3 million in the first 7 months. He texted me a couple weeks ago. Hey man, I just want to let you know we hit 2 million with 3 guys. 3 guys, they hit 2 million bucks in revenue in their second year. It's incredible. Go listen to those episodes. You'll learn something from Brock, I guarantee you. Go listen to the episode with Garrett Williams. He's an early 20-year-old. Built a $5 million a year excavation business alongside his sister, Marlena. I also did an episode with Marlena about how to set up the back end of your office operations, how to leverage a software like Jobber, implement into your service business to make sure that it runs smoothly. How do you do things like quotes, scheduling jobs, invoicing, accounts receivable, building out your schedule, all those things we talked about. I've also done episodes just on sharing my thoughts on how to go about building a snowplow business from the ground up. We just got done with our first month of snowplowing, and I believe we wrapped up the early November month at like 25K right out the gate. This stuff starts to get easier. In the beginning, it's like, oh, how do I get my first 1,000? How do I get my first 2,000? But then after you start blocking and tackling for a couple of years and doing it, you're like, no, how do I go get a contract that can lead to 20,000 a month? And then how do I stack multiple ones of those on top of each other and build a team around that? And so those are all the things that we talk about. So like and subscribe to this channel if you enjoy this content. And don't forget, work hard, do your best, never settle for less. I know I said it multiple times, but literally nobody else cares. So if you're uncomfortable doing something, figure out a way to push through that, because nobody really cares about it. All you need to do is just work harder. We'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.